Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Josh Taylor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave right here at KDKA+. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. We're live here on television and also live on 93.7 The Fan. So if you're driving around, give us a call. Chris Mueller's up at 93.7 The Fan. A busy day for all of us in the sports world, Chris. And let's begin with the Steelers' schedule, which starts, I think, in a very positive way for them in some of these matchups early on. But then it gets tougher after their bye week. After week 9, they got a gauntlet of games, including home matches against Denver and Houston, and then 2 of the last 4 against Baltimore. So it normally comes down to that, and it will again this year. Your thoughts on that schedule?
I mean, my thoughts are, unless they go into that bye week 6-2, they are in dire straits because it's the Bengals on the road, it's the Eagles. They never beat the Eagles, really. That is troublesome to think about. And then you've got those games you mentioned, Denver and Houston and Jacksonville and then Baltimore. I mean, that week 10 through week 15, 6-game crucible. Listen, I understand that this isn't how it actually ends up working out hardly ever. But you look at that and think to yourself, they could be either an underdog or at best a pick 'em in every one of those games. They could go 2-4 or 1-5 or 0-6 in those games. Those should all be pretty quality opponents. Depending on what injuries do to any of those teams. And so I think it's the same story as 2024, Bob. If you'll go back a couple of years, the thought was they had to make hay early in that schedule because just before Christmas, it got brutal. And then what did we see happen? They lost 4 in a row, 3 of which were non-competitive losses. They got into the playoffs staggering, and then they got ushered out of the playoffs. So I do think there's some similarities in terms of the first half versus second half degree of difficulty with 2024.
Yeah, a lot of primetime games, as per usual. It was interesting to note that 5 NFL teams did not have one of those primetime games. That's what happens. Teams like the Dolphins, the Jets, the Raiders, they didn't get any of those. The Steelers are going to be busy in that regard. Right off the bat, though, the one that strikes me is Cleveland on a Thursday night again in Cleveland, although this one is earlier in the season. Will that change their luck, do you think, in Cleveland?
I mean, I would love to say that it will. And Cleveland's got one of the only quarterback rooms, I think, in the league that is worse than the Steelers. But just weird things happen when they go there. Myles Garrett tends to dominate when they go there. They tend to get in their own heads. But I guess, Bob, to some extent, if we're being serious and honest about this, we have to leave a lot of that in the past because I think at least some of it, if not a lot of it, was the Tomlin era. And there was a weird Tomlin factor where they would play great against some great teams and you'd see them deliver big performances, but then he'd take a team into Cleveland and he couldn't seem to get them out of their own way. So maybe that changes with Mike McCarthy. You'd hope that it does because it's been kind of a stain on their resume that they haven't been able to go in there and get wins with regularity given how bad the Browns usually are.
Our KDKA.com Connect Poll of the Night, brought to you by Penn West University, is on your screen right now, and it's an interesting one. Just your feelings about the Steelers' schedule. Do you feel good about it, cautiously optimistic, not good at all, and right now not good is leading the way at 69%. Pirates got a nice win today. We saw Andy Rodriguez get in the lineup and make an impact, a couple of hits, and if he can do that, I wonder how much playing time he will get because those other catchers are not providing much, although Bart got hot before he got injured. He's on the IL. Davis still batting 151 or wherever he's batting. What do you think they do with Rodriguez, say tomorrow in the first game of a series against Philadelphia?
If Paul Skeens isn't pitching, you consider Rodriguez. If Paul Skeens and Mitch Keller both aren't pitching, then I think it's got to be Rodriguez, maybe 3 out of every 5 games. He did not have great numbers offensively in the minors. He doesn't hit for any power, but his on-base percentage was 100 points higher than his batting average at Indianapolis this year, Bob, which tells me that he's at least got a decent approach at the plate, and he's capable of taking some walks, maybe not hitting the ball hard with regularity, but Davis has given you basically nothing. He has the 2-homer game that I think came directly after Pony and I just clobbered him on the air for how bad his offense was, and then he's retreated right back into his usual form. So I don't think, as much as we know that the ace of the staff likes throwing to him, and as much as his defense has been a pleasant surprise with the degree of improvement that it's undergone, I certainly don't think offensively he's done enough to warrant continuing to stay in the lineup 4 out of every 5 games. Furthermore, with Endy, it's not like you need him to come in there and actually add some thump. They've got actual thump in the lineup. They got 3 or 4 guys that could be reliably counted upon to hit the ball over the fence. You just need somebody that's going to give you competitive at-bats and help you turn over the bottom of that order. Right now, Davis, just a continuation of his whole career, does none of that.
When we come back, we'll get into the PGA Championship. It is a jam-packed leaderboard. We'll talk about that coming up, and also want your phone calls at 412-575-2600. Call us. We're live right now on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Want to hear from you about the Steelers' schedule release, about the Pirates, about the PGA. You name it, we talk about it next, right here. Oh, we have some breaking news. It's our Xfinity tweet of the night. We have a trade between Boston and Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium is set to trade gorillas with Boston's Franklin Park Zoo. Now, Frankie, Pittsburgh's 7-year-old male Western lowland gorilla, will head to Boston. In exchange, Boston will send 33-year-old Little Joe, the silverback, to Pittsburgh, the zoo announced today. So there's a veteran presence versus a newcomer in the business there. Chris, your take on how that trade may work out?
Well, I mean, I hope it works out better than when Pittsburgh and Boston did the Jason Bay trade, but I think you've got to laud the Pittsburgh Zoo. They know that they're bringing in an established veteran. He might be past his prime, great leader in the locker room, obviously, as a silverback gorilla. They're in win-now mode at the Pittsburgh Zoo, and when you're in win-now mode, you've got to trade for established veterans, and you've got to deal from a pool of younger talent. You can't worry about what that 7-year-old gorilla is going to look like 10 years down the road. You're trying to establish yourself as the best zoo right now. I laud them. I hope other teams, other zoos, small market zoos, you might even say, are paying attention and that they go for it when the time is right to strike.
That's beautifully done. What you said right there extemporaneously summed it all up, and you're right. They're looking to win now. All right, speaking of that, the PGA Championship, I don't know if anyone could win after one round because there are 7 tied for the lead, 48 golfers within 3 shots. I mean, it is one of the most jam-packed. Scheffler's at the top, which is unusual for him. He normally is a slow starter. Here he is tied for the lead. Just an early first round thought about what happened today, because I think that course is a good golf course, and they're gonna have some tough pin placements.
Bob, I feel obligated to start off by saying 412-575-2600 because people are going to hear me fire off a million different takes about the PGA and probably want to hear somebody else talk when I'm done. I've got a lot of thoughts. I thought Aronimink actually held up really well compared to what people thought it was going to be, which was like a turkey shootout there. I thought the course defended itself, which I know you're a purist. You like seeing that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Couple things. Scheffler hit 13 out of 14 fairways, I believe it was, on the day. That is a very bad sign for the rest of the field if he keeps that up. He putted it pretty well. He was great around the greens. His bugaboo this year has been that he's playing these bad first rounds and he can't quite catch up despite dominating the last 3. That's a bad sign for the rest of the field. Couple other noteworthies. Bryson just completely ejected. He should go back to YouTube and start making more videos there. I thought Rory was hilarious with one very profane word to describe his round, but he lost his driver late, and you saw how difficult that course could be. There's one guy to watch, though, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I've tried to predict it at this tournament and at U.S. Opens, but I think we got a shot at it here because he's 2 off the lead. If there's one dude in the field, as crazy as it sounds, who, if he gets his putter going for the next 3 days, will not be intimidated by Scottie Scheffler at all, will absolutely match him tee to green shot for shot the way he's hitting it right now, it is Brooks Koepka. If he was putting the ball at all, he would be leading this tournament outright. He has been probably the best player in the field. Best player in the field tee to green so far through one round. One of the worst 10 or 12 players in the field putting the ball. So he is my guy to watch here because I think I would love to see a Koepka-Scheffler duel on the weekend. I think that would be great theater.
It would. I still think I'd like to see Jordan Spieth complete the career Grand Slam. Ryu Hitsutsani is another young kid who's been playing well in some of the bigger events, and he's on that leaderboard as well. 412-575-2600. Let's get to the lines, beginning with Chuck in Uniontown, who's going to talk not Pirates tonight. He's going to talk Steelers. What's up, Chuck?
Yeah. Well, thanks, fellas. Just a simple question. I noticed that always our games, the last few years, our games in Baltimore, both of them, are down near the end of the season. Is this by design,
Yes.
or is it just
Totally by design.
that that they want to see the Steelers play in Baltimore late in the season.
Well, a couple years ago, thanks, Chuck, as Chris noted, they had, 6 division games in the last, 8 weeks of the season? Yeah, it was crazy. And so, this is by design. You know what Pittsburgh-Baltimore brings. We saw it at the end of the regular season when Tyler Loop missed the field goal. Steelers win the division, and those kind of dramatic games is what they want.
He went wide right in that game just like Rory did down the stretch today. Anyway, I will say this. I think that you say so emphatically by design, and I know you know better than I do on that front, Bob, but I also think that's a bit of a risk by the NFL because I think you've got a chance that, one, Aaron Rodgers, who I guess would still qualify as your marquee quarterback on one half of that slate or that matchup, he might be hurt by then. We know Lamar Jackson plays a style that occasionally gets him dinged up. Now, he got hurt early last season and then was back and more ready to go by the end, but I think it actually probably works to the Steelers' advantage if you play the percentages here just because there's a better chance Jackson's hurt. So I think it's kind of a weird risk by the NFL. It definitely puts the Steelers in an interesting spot just because if they're trailing, they have a chance to, kind of control their own destiny and get back in it, but cuts both ways. If they actually have a lead in the division, if they're surprising all of us, and Baltimore's right on their heels, they have a chance to lose it very quickly.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's go out to JD in the North Hills. JD, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I looked at that schedule. I mean, it is going to be brutal down the stretch. I'm saying 10-6, however, something like that is not out of the question.
10-7?
9-7. Well, regardless, 9-10 wins. It's just, it doesn't look promising. I mean, the thing is, I would rather start seeing these young kids like Aller and Howard start to play right now than Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers just keeps stringing us along. It's time to throw these kids into the fire and not Rodgers. It's time to Rodgers to say goodbye. We've had enough of you. It's time to move on.
Well, it may happen that way. You never know. I mean, there's seemingly still a dispute about, and Charlie Batch, I asked him, he was on our show tonight. We did it 8:30 live here on KDK Plus, the schedule release show, and he sticks to his story about money, that there is a separation of numbers there, and perhaps the Steelers boxed him in a little bit for coming out with that tag they put on him. Whatever the case, it's taking long, but it's not surprising because he did it last year. I thought it would be sooner, Chris, but who knows how this is going to end up. And you're right, later in the year, if there's an injury here, you're going to have a lot of guys being thrown to the wolves, and maybe that's the best thing for them.
Maybe it ends with Rodgers and the Steelers losing to the Saints in Paris in week 8 or whatever, and going and dropping to 2-6 or whatever it might be on the year, and then Rodgers deciding he's going to stay in Paris and become an impressionist painter, retire on the spot, eat baguettes, drink wine, use whatever
Ayahuasca,
experimental
nightly.
recreational drugs. Yeah, whatever recreational drugs are in Saint-Tropez. Yeah, maybe he'll do that, but I think, Bob, I know that we've got a lot of current events business to attend to. I do wonder what percentage, like if you were to put up sort of some kind of question that could quantify this, what percentage of Steelers fans more or less feel, in so many words, the way JD described feeling? Hey, I know it could be bad. I just want to see the young guys, especially at quarterback. I want to see what we have or don't have for the next, for this season.
Right.
I think it's a lot more than there would have been last year, even at this time.
I mean, you really can't get that much of an evaluation, even with preseason games. You need to see them in the pressure cooker that is the regular season, undergoing, pressure from good defensive teams like the Texans to figure out where you are. And if not, they'll redraft the position probably after that. Dominic is in Allenson Park, and now he is on the air. Hey, Dominic, go ahead.
Hey, you guys got intern Dom. You got Yinzer Dom here, and don't worry, I won't insult you, Bob. I'm just.
He listens a lot. I like that.
Yes. So I like the Steelers schedule. The Broncos on Black Friday. That should be a heck of a game. That's a great time for relaxing. Saints in Paris should be cool. Browns are going to be a tougher out than they normally are, but schedule ranks change all the time due to injuries or breakout players. And then this Saturday in Pittsburgh, I'm part of a crew called Yin's Gone Wild. We're going to be doing a scavenger hunt with 2 teams of 3 content creators around Pittsburgh. So come see us around. We're going to be around town. We got camera crews, and I'm going to be shooting all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So we'll
Dominic
see
on the loose. All
That
right.
sounds like something intern Dom would do, not Yinzer Dom. It sounds like something intern Dom would participate in, too, a random scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that, Dom. And there's another event going on. I mentioned this last night. If you like power lifting and strongman competitions at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center this May 16th and 17th, you go down there and see all the best at what they do. And there's some big-time strong men and women down there who can do a lot of things that I know I can't do. One thing I can do is go back to the phone lines. Joe is in Whitehall, and now you're on, Joe. Go ahead.
Mosey, thanks for taking my call. Mosey, how were the desserts a couple weeks ago for your kids that I got for you?
Oh, they were excellent. Those were very, very good, Joe. Thank you. This is Joe in Whitehall. I was emceeing an autism benefit last weekend, Bob. He and his wife are running a nice little confection stand. They've got their confectionery business and a very good chocolate chip cookie, bar cookie dessert. So shout out to Joe in Whitehall, who did point out, Bob, that when he calls, he's usually had several drinks. Those are my favorite kind of callers to any show.
That's why we have a delay button and a dump button. But Joe's not going to use that. What real quick do you want to talk about, Joe?
The Brandon Lau trade, we got him for 1 year. Mm-hmm. Could there have been a chance for land him for a couple more years and lock him up? Did we miss this?
If you want to pay the price, I mean, he's what is he, 30 years old, 31 years old? I mean, he's going to give you the kind of power 30s, you want.
I mean,
and the price is going to be
he's blocking
steep.
Somebody, though? Well, I'll tell you what, there would be absolutely no chance they would even entertain it if Termarr Johnson was ripping it up right now in AAA. If he looked like he was the next big thing, even though he's not a power guy, they wouldn't consider it. But yeah, Brandon Lau's not cheap. I thought the fact that they were able to trade for him and give up, Mike Burrows, that's it, to get a guy who might hit 35 to 40 home runs for them this year. That's such an expensive commodity. It's such a precious commodity in baseball, guys who can hit it over the fence. I still think that's a masterstroke right now by Ben Cherington. Just has completely legitimized the middle of this lineup, really. And you can't pitch around guys now because of him.
And that goes to show you why you need as much pitching depth as you can get, and they have it. They were willing to trade not him, but also Oviedo, both those guys, Burrows and Oviedo, who were looked at one point as starters in this rotation, but you got so many of them, you could actually utilize that to help the areas of need, which were power. We're due for a break. We'll take it, come back with more. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Before we go, a little update on hockey, if you're still paying attention. Buffalo Sabres tonight were at home looking to go up 3-2. Instead, it was Montreal, which came back with 4 unanswered goals after the first period. They win 6-3. Canadians are going home with a chance to win and head to the Eastern Conference Finals against Carolina. That team I like a lot. Young guys stepping up, all under the age of 23 in prime positions. That's going to be a big matchup if it's Montreal and Carolina.
It will be, but man, Bob, I know anything can happen and does happen. I still think Carolina looks awfully tough to beat in the East. It just feels like we're inevitably hurtling towards Carolina, Colorado in the Stanley Cup final, and I think that would be an absolute banger. By the way, Mitch Marner just scored an outrageous goal to lift the lid in Ducks Vegas.
I saw it.
Go watch it. I can't even describe it. It's absurd. One of the better ones you'll ever see.
He went between his legs. I don't know even how he got around Lacombe.
It was the Merrick Malik. It was the Merrick Malik goal at a complete stop off of a breakaway.
Good night, Chris. Thank you again. As always, we'll see you guys tomorrow here at 10:35.